They say 24 is the year of the dragon. In Chinese culture specifically, power, good fortune, wisdom, and strength. I may be like picking at my nose because I got like a little nose cuff on, y'all. And I don't know. Like if I put it too tight, I can't get it on my nose. And then when I get it on my nose, after I loosen it up, I can't seem to tighten it. So, but I'm not giving up. They also say believing is next to receiving. But how about when we are met with the opposite? The seeing is believing types. Now, understand what I said. I said believing is next to receiving. And the opposite is seeing is believing. Now, don't get me wrong. We all have said this and meant it at some point in our lives. I know I have. And I might say it even after filming this, you know. It can be attested if we are honest with ourselves. See, it done fell out. I'm going to just let it go, y'all. That this stems from the baseline level of distrust. Baseline meaning the foundation is distrust. But then you find shortly thereafter, you are aggressive, assertive, resentful. It's like a rabbit hole of negative shadow side derailment. We talked about this, I believe, in, don't quote me on this. It was the ass episode. I don't know what number. $, as a society, we should stop. Yes. But this is Just Forget About It, episode 26. We made it to half a year. Woo!
Celebrate good times. Come on. It's a celebration. We made 6 months. That's 180 days of dedication.
That's 180 days of dedication. Okay. So let's get back on track. And this episode is called Labyrinth Entrapments. Labyrinth is one of those words that everyone has seen but really doesn't pay attention to. For all my 80s babies, shout out to episode 8. 80s babies, y'all all right? You remember that video, Labyrinth, that video game, Labyrinth? I never played it, so I don't know. I think it was like, it came out at the same time as like Zelda and Tetris and all that stuff. Anyway, labyrinth defined is a complicated or irregular network of passages or paths in which it is typically difficult to find one's way. Now, seeing is believing, although in some instances can be true, but to hold ourselves or even others to the standard can be a labyrinth entrapment. Now, to explain a complication requires taking things apart. That was like my illustration. Okay, so to tell back on my previous statement of seeing is believing being rooted in distrust, because that is often, wow, why did I open my mouth so wide? Cut that, because that is often the consequent of this saying. Okay, so seeing is believing, being rooted in distrust, because it is often the consequent of the saying too. They said they wouldn't do that anyway. I'll believe it when I see it. My job said they are finally providing us with merit raises after dragging their feet for 6 months. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. The root of someone tilting or outright betraying our trust is the result of that phrase. It took me a minute. Cut that too. Is the result of that phrase. Seeing is believing. I'll believe it when I see it. So why do we often give in and feed consecutively into this mental labyrinth entrapment? We can go into a variety of reasons that will probably just make you feel convicted and have you get defensive. But that's not what we're trying to do here. And you, meaning me too. This is a mirror exercise. So anything I talk about is about collective energies. So why do we usually give into these mental entrapments? We can go into a variety of reasons. That in the end would only be counterproductive. And my goal is to provoke thought for actionable change. And this change is rooted in freedom and love. So please understand that. So that's first. Now back to the labyrinth entrapment. And they are exactly what I described, the complication and the dishonesty. And this is rooted in the distrust. And this distrust comes from the result of lack of faith. Now, I may be coming off a little preachy. I don't know that it's an easy way to convey this. So for those that want to get, a message to be inspired, or that may stumble upon this and something about this video has got your attention, stick with me. You may find something in here to be useful. Okay. Now, labyrinth entraptions, I'm comparing to lack of faith. The root is distrust. The foundation is a lack of faith. However you want to say it. Root, foundation, they're kind of synonymous of each other. Now, being a spirit, having a human experience, you feel me? It can be easy to disconnect from the things we can't see, things that are tangible, that we can feel, whether it be, someone's loyalty, love, or consideration. Now, being a spirit, having a human experience, it can be easy to disconnect from the things we can't see, whether it be someone's loyalty, love, or consideration. It's hard to trust things outside of tangibility, right? Things you can touch, you can feel. Well, my good viewers, this is the exact place where we began our descent into labyrinth. For a lot of us, myself included, it is dormant. And I mean this entrapment, this mental entrapment. Follow me, labyrinth. And we don't even realize we do it. Or better yet, we deny our conscience the ability to process and accept the truth. I'm going to say that again. We deny our own conscience the truth because of fear, pride, shame, or all of them. And within this labyrinth, we take false steps into oblivion that we know more than likely will lead us back to the starting line. And then it's back to this at least mindset. At least I tried. When you know your efforts didn't align with the intended outcome. So we continue these false efforts, start to create comfortability in them. And with every corresponding instance that follows, this is our standard we are building. And then we can continue to say things that will perpetuate or that will enable this labyrinth mindset Well, that's the way I am. You know, that's how I am. Or it's because I have a dinosaurus moon. That's a joke for everybody that's in Zodiac. I'm into Zodiac too. But instead of really looking within, people love to blame things outside of themselves. Like, ma'am, sir, madame, spirit, whatever you want to call yourself. No. The reasons why things did not pan out as planned is simply the labyrinth you place yourself within, but then hit the SOS. Nah, family, nah. We have to find ways to power through these labyrinth entrapments with trust turned tenacity, if for no one else but ourselves. To really gain the results of change and hope, believing and seeing. Notice the separation, but intention. Not seeing is believing, believing and seeing. Tone, strategy, consistency, all matter. They do. Even when we are comfy, even when we are safe. Keep this in mind the next time your mind or your morals or your emotions even go into labyrinth entrapments. Because yes, seeing is believing, but what is it exactly that you are allowing yourself to see? Are we being honest with ourselves? When we don't hold ourselves to the morals or the standards that we voluntarily say that we follow or abide by, when no one is looking, are you putting yourself into a labyrinth entrapment? And when you do put yourself into a labyrinth entrapment, what are you doing to get yourself out of it? Are you being honest with yourself? Or are you victimizing your perspective to try to change your circumstances around you? Sorry to say, but it don't work like that, baby. So I hope that you guys have taken something from this today. I definitely needed to download this for myself. Because I think within the last 90 days, there's been a lot of things happening in my life. I just want to close out with saying a little thing. And I was putting myself, and I have been putting myself in labyrinth entrapments because I want certain things a certain way in my life. I have a level of perfectionism that not until I embarked on this project or certain aspects of my bravery that I'm embarking on this time in my life have shown to me. And I wanted to speak eloquently and creatively about things that we experience based off of expectations and distorted mindsets that we oftentimes don't even realize that we do. So we must be careful and know that labyrinth mind trickery happens to us often, sometimes even daily, y'all. But it is how we believe, our faith, that will balance us out. Ultimately, determining how we survive, and from surviving to thriving, and from thriving to elevating. So until next time, guys, no labyrinth entrapments. Free ourselves and our minds. J-Fat, ow.